It's a curious sight, an infant's slippers strewn with cigarette waste and drug paraphernalia. Then again, this is no ordinary home. It's where Asia Bianca and her husband live together with their son. Both parents are drug addicts, and the slippers belonged to their little girl who died only 6 months after she was born.
When we went to bed, she was fine. Then when I woke up, she was foaming at the mouth. I got scared and hoped when I was high on heroin that I hadn't placed my hand or leg on her, causing her to suffocate.
Despite the doctors ruling out her fears, Asia still carries the guilt of her daughter's death and her 2-year addiction. The 20-year-old was introduced to the habit by her boyfriend. He would secretly lace her cigarettes with a powder, and by the time she found out, she was already addicted.
I was in pain, yawning and cold. That's when I saw him and he said, "You are going through withdrawal and you've been on heroin. Now I'm hooked and there's no way for me to go to rehab."
With nearly 3,000 active injecting drug users, Malindi hosts one of the highest numbers of heroin addicts in Kenya. Like most coastal towns in the country, it's used by international traffickers as a transit point for drugs which are transported from Afghanistan to the West. The COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with a failing tourism industry, has only made things worse for users in this area. And it doesn't take us long to see just how bad things can get. Mohammed is here to get methadone, a synthetic opioid used for drug addiction therapy. But it's not good news. He needs to reduce his heroin intake further before he can be put on the therapy. I take the opportunity to ask him how he's feeling.
As I look at you, I feel like grabbing you and dropping you to go get a hit. Because I'm going through withdrawal now. Why did I ever use heroin? I have nothing. I am left with nothing. If you see the way I sleep, it really hurts me.
Outside, there are many more active and recovering drug users. When they see the camera, they ask if we can offer them work. There's a deep sense of despair here, as most are left with nothing but the Omari Project, a community-based rehabilitation center. Officials here warn of a worrying trend that has emerged with the pandemic.
When school closed and kids stopped going to school, the number of young drug users shot up because in Malindi so many people, if you're not taking heroin, then they're taking khat, smoking marijuana and cigarettes.
The pandemic is also pushing recovering addicts to the edge.
I have thoughts of relapsing and they're very disturbing, but when I come here, I feel some sense of relief. Not a lot, but some relief.
The government has forgotten us. We are left homeless, sick at home or sick in the streets. So we have no choice but to support each other.
For Asia, her only support at the moment is her husband, himself an addict. We leave the young mother cleaning a half-abandoned house, a fitting metaphor for a woman struggling to keep her life together.